Happy brunch. It is December 17th. Welcome, welcome. Go ahead and file in. Oops, I did that wrong. Oh, there we go. Had to mute myself because, gosh darn it, if that's muted, you can't hear me. Okay, hold on a second. Now it wound up in the wrong place. Okay, so there we go. All right, let's see what's going on here. I am Whimsy. How you doing? I am a fake oracle here to entertain you. I should get some of my musical instruments. Okay, so I got to entertain you. Let's see here. I got hats, I got shirts, I got costumes. I should, do you guys want me to play a song? What kind of song do you want? I could get my guitar and sing to you guys while people are. Oh, yes, I guess. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be in Israel in 8 days. That's right. You know what? I should play you guys a song. I am a fake oracle. A lot of people think I'm taking it seriously. No, I don't take anything seriously. I'm a performance artist and a comedian who just happens to be a scientist. Yay. I like off days. When I was in medical school, oh, so many puppy years long ago, we were afraid to make jokes. It was incredibly stressful. So humor kind of got us through, making all kinds of morbid, sick jokes. Yeah. I'm flying to Los Angeles, LAX, and I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. But I think it's going to be okay. Lots going on. Lots going on in the world. Play a song. What do you guys want to hear? What kind of music do you like? I could sing something while people find the stream. Oh, people usually eventually get here. First class. Oh, that's right. You know what? I would like to teach from Israel. I'll try and do live. But my life doesn't belong to me when I get there. I get to get gobbled up by beautiful, beautiful Israelis and all the other cool people that are going to be there. It's a very rewarding. I feel very safe. I know people were scared. Um, but no, I don't think anything spooky. I'm going to be staying in Tel Aviv. I think we're going to get to peace eventually, but you know how these things go. People have to beat their chest and be very silly, but no, peace will come, and then the rebuild will happen. But we have to just pray that you guys want to. What singers do you guys like? Oh, I'm saying something that you guys like. You guys like Everywhere, right? Oh, do I sing that one? You know what I've been working on? I've been working on Midler. I think it's going to rain today. Did you guys hear me playing with that one? It's kind of a sad song, but it's turning out pretty gosh darn good.
broken windows and empty hallways, pale moon on a sky streaked with gray. Human kindness is overflowing, and I think it's gonna rain today. Scarecrows dressed in their latest styles, frozen smiles to chase love away. Human kindness is overflowing, and I think it's gonna rain today. Lonely, lonely, tin can at my feet. I think I'll kick it down the street. That's the way to treat a friend. Right before me, signs implore me, help the needy and show them the way. Human kindness is overflowing, and I think it's gonna rain today. Lonely, so lonely, tin cans at my feet. I think I'll kick it down the street. That's the way to treat a friend. Right before me, the signs implore me, help the needy and show them the way. Human kindness is overflowing, and I think it's gonna rain today.
Thank you. A little something while people are filing in. Well, that was a nice little way to get together, right? Should I do that more often? Should I sing for all you folks? Is that what I need to do to get you feeling happy and better and smiley facey all around? Okay, so let's go ahead now that everybody has had a seat. We got 92 beautiful people here. Did I put this on public mode or did I put this on private mode? Because if I put it on, can everybody see it? I got to make sure that everybody can be in the stream. Yes, the stream is public, I believe. I had it on private mode initially, so. Okay, good. We're okay. We're public. Let's take a moment to say hi. Hi, K-Travel. Oh, Leonard Cohen. Yes, I must be doing some Leonard Cohen. He's always good for the show. Geocosmic, thank you. Jennifer Miller, hello. Let's see what's happening here. Am I freezing? There we go. No, I'm fine. Trying to get this caught up. There we go. All right. So, what you eating? What you drinking? How's your brunch? Are you ready to get the empath prayer pretty soon? We will have people talk a little bit. I'm just having coffee. You know me on brunch. I don't usually eat a lot at brunch. I usually either will have, when I join you folks, I'll either just have a cup of coffee with, this has 2%. I don't have a lot of dairy in my diet anymore. Dairy and wheat are the two things that will fatten you up. So if you're doing dairy, you want to go low fat. But anyway, I'm having that with some sucanat for sweetener, glass of water. I just don't have an appetite. You know, even 11 is too early for me. I start my digest in Chinese medicine and also in Ayurveda, you have something which is called digestive fire. Your immune system is also in your gut. It's associated also with triple heater, or your body's ability to burn off an infection, right? So if you know, you have to ask yourself, what is the peak time that you're going to be hungry? Most people do not wake up hungry. Some people do, like people that tend to burn a lot of fuel, like pitta. People that have a lot of heat, like athletes, they will often wake up and they will have like a 4-egg omelet, right? And then they'll go work in the gym. They just wake up famished. That's called usually what's called a pitta, or a hot body. But if you're like me and your body type is in Ayurvedic is Vata, we tend to be cold, dry, trouble digesting things. Our digestive fire doesn't start to heat up until afternoon. It's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah. Okay, looks like Buddha Lion is here. Carolyn Rossell is here. Good to see you in chilly Maine. I heard you guys in Florida are getting a really bad weather. I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, so sorry to hear that. Yeah, exactly, Debbie. Fear is not going to be your friend. I mean, that's something that Stoics talk about. You know, you secure your area, you do the best you can, but in the end, you gotta just oh, hi, Fox, the cutest dog in the West. I bet Fox is the cutest dog in the West. And I assume Fox is your dog. I like terriers. Oh, cereal and blueberries is nice. And what I've gotten into is making my own cereal. You know, you can buy oats. If you buy the bulk items from scratch, Jeffrey, this is true for all of you. If you're like a pioneer and you're hunkering down and you're learning how to live frugally, one of the tricks is to just make your own cereal. It's actually really easy to make. You know, you just get oats and you mix a little oil into it so that they stick. You can add a little water to them first so that they stick together. Then, and you add different nuts and stuff, and then you just bake it at 350 and take it out, and that's cereal. So you don't have to be spending $4 for a pound when you can produce it the same thing for $1 a pound. And I do that. Sometimes I want to make my own. And also when I make my own granola, it tastes better because, I don't know, I get to put whatever nuts and seeds I like. The trick also is do not add raisins because they'll fry. Add the raisins afterwards. That's the other thing. Or you can make your own muesli. That's another thing that's nice. Oh, you're recovering. Jeffrey's recovering from COVID. I'm so sorry. Hi, Yolanda. Good to see you here. Hi, Ann Dillon. Yeah, evidently storming in Florida. Hi, Fillerin. Great to see you here. Fillerin is very health conscious. She's very athletic, but she is the queen of fitness. So she's a great resource. If you folks don't know how to eat or live, just ask Fillerin. She's aging in reverse. Every time I talk to her, she sounds like she's 10 years younger. So that's good. You know, that's what we want. We want to be embracing health. And yeah, muesli is ancient. You know, muesli is an ancient food. Yeah. People have been eating muesli for maybe millions of years. I mean, God, that blows my mind that muesli, it's considered one of the most ancient foods. Did y'all know that? Yeah, and muesli. Because oats grow wild. So people would sow the wild oats and they would mash it into, or cut it, and then they would add different seeds and whatnot, and they would travel. They would go into warfare, or they would turn it into bricks. The Vikings. Sometimes they would make it with tallow and meat. So you could also do a pottage, which would be a hot cereal, and that sometimes had meat in it, scraps of meat. The rats or the rabbits or whatever you could cook up would go into it. That's actually a pretty simple life. You just have your wife go gather some wild oats, and maybe she caught a few wild animals in the thicket, like a rabbit or something, and then that's a lot of calories. So they probably wolfed that puppy down with some wild crab apples. That was the good life, man. What more do you need, right? Maybe catch some fish. Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, I think we're going to go ahead. We'll do the empath's prayer, and then we will do a collective reading. Does that work for you? I think so. Okay, let's do it. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. So in terms of just the remote views right now, I think I covered a lot of it last night, that I felt that how I felt it would be resolved on the West Bank. I think that they will get a deal. They will get a ceasefire, and they will get a deal, and then Hamas will probably be allowed to exit to host countries. And then I think some version of a peace plan, if it's not the Oasis protocol, it'll be something similar. I think that that's probably how it will play out. In terms of Iran and Russia's pressuring, even to the point of threatening violence, I think they've already committed quite a bit of violence. If they cannot be allowed inside or receive some kind of financial benefits from the Abraham Peace Accords. And we've talked about that. So we've talked about the fact that the president of Saudi Arabia the president of Iran went to Saudi Arabia. And we talked about the fact that Russia, Putin also went. And so it just is very increasingly obvious that they are letting it be known that they want a piece of the pie. When you think about human nature, and this is something that anthropologists study a lot, it's something that's mentioned, believe it or not, in the Torah and the Bible. It's a great, even if you don't take the Bible literally, or you have to admit it's pretty damn brilliant when it comes to understanding human nature and human behavior. But one of the things that's often mentioned is that human beings are jealous and envious, and they want what the other is having. And so the fastest way to get to war is when a person believes that somebody, whether it's real or imagined, has took something from them, right? So every time you hear the fight, whether it's in the Middle East, you took our land, no, you took our land. It's always this, you took something, right? So it goes back to this fundamental understanding of human nature. You cannot reason with somebody that feels, and it's almost like a 3-year-old, isn't it? Tommy took my toy truck, right? So it's not fair. It's not fair. You took my truck. And so you have people who suffer from personality disorders, narcissists who often become attracted to fundamentalist religions, right? They think God speaks to them directly because they're narcissists, and that's precisely what a narcissist thinks. So a lot of evangelicals and a lot of mullahs are diagnosed malignant narcissists. They know what God wants, and they're going to personally make sure that they follow through on God's will, right? Now, how's that for narcissism? So you often see that overlap between extremism and narcissism because it's pretty much one and the same, right? Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But we can do some local US stuff. We can talk about what's going on in Europe. There's some interesting things going on in Europe. Paxlovid for COVID works pretty fast. If it's an antiviral and I think that's great. I think we're definitely focusing on antivirals because the inflammation that people are reacting to, you can have a mild inflammatory reaction from the COVID vaccine. That's true. But the inflammatory response from COVID itself is far worse. And the cause of death is usually inflammatory. So what the virus does is it can cause even disseminated intravascular coagulation. That's why you have people coagulating and dying from blood clots and stuff because of what the virus does to one's immune system. So people don't understand data, and they see that a small percentage of people who get the vaccine experience some inflammation, but it's much, much lower than if you were to have an inflammatory response from something like COVID. And particularly when you look at some of the newer strains that might be pretty dangerous, far more aggressive. If you're looking at the swine flu epidemic that took place between, what was it, 1919, when 60 million people died because we didn't have antivirals, that would be an example of a swine flu that got into pigs in Missouri, and it mutated because it went from birds to swine, and then from swine to humans, took out 60 million people. And so what the research out of Wuhan was, the Wuhan lab was dealing with swine flu epidemics. That's what they were doing. And they were doing game theory, which is, here is how we get the virus. Now, so they were playing different. And now there's real solid evidence that it leaked. So why did it leak? Probably people were stealing samples, probably spies. There was a lot of spying going on both ways. So you had US attempting to steal because they wanted to get the COVID vaccine for their swine. There's a lot of money to be made, right? Because a lot of pork going back and forth. And if you have an infection in swine, like a swine flu, it's going to become not only a global epidemic, but it's going to wipe out your livestock. So there was this race by scientists to get a swine vaccine for the pigs. And so you had Chinese being arrested at labs in the United States, and you had spies being arrested in China. You see what was going on. So they were spying on each other. And I think it's very possible that people attempting to steal samples leaked it. I think that that's probably because, I'm just doing Occam's razor, now that they've gone to zero with the DNA and traced it back to the lab, they're pretty sure about that. Then the next question is, well, how did it get out of the lab? Because according to the head research scientist, it's not possible because she did everything in her power to control it. Sure, for accidents, she did everything in her power to control for accidents, and she's telling the truth. But she didn't think about the fact that she was working with spies that were intentionally going to be taking things out of the lab. And so she's completely innocent. So when she has to go before the UN or the Chinese government and rack her head and say, it's not possible. Do you have any idea the protocols I went to make sure there was no lab leak? Is it her fault? No, because she's not responsible for Chinese security and who got hired, or the fact that some of them might have been spies that went and grabbed samples that leaked. So again, Occam's razor, what's the most likely explanation for how it leaked? It was intentionally taken out. It wasn't strong enough to be a type of biological warfare because it only had a 2% mortality rate. It could have created chaos, but I don't think it was intentional. I think somebody stole it and it leaked. Did we do impasse prayer? We did, right? Can somebody remind me if we did the impasse prayer? I think we did, right? And now we need to do the collective, right? Well, I think a lot of women and men have been married to people like Hamas fighters, right? We know that person, the lunatic who's got a drug problem, screaming, ranting, and raving, threatening his wife with a gun, threatening the whole neighborhood, holding the entire neighborhood hostage because he wants attention. We've all seen some version of that, right? Drugged out, sexed out, abusing women, thinks women are property. How about all of the supposedly peace activists that somehow think that that's the best an Arab woman can live with? What if you're an Arab woman, excuse me, that doesn't want to live like that? I'm choking on something. Excuse me. So Arab women should be treated like that? Well, if it's that choice, they don't have a choice. It's the way it is. What if you're a hostage? What if you don't want to be in Gaza? What if you don't support this? What if you think these people are nuts? Well, then you have Stockholm syndrome, right? You'll tell people whatever they want to hear, right? Sure, we support Hamas, just don't shoot me, right? So a lot of people just don't know what's going on. Sorry, I just swallowed a hair. Excuse me. Jennifer Folsom. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, something threw into my throat. The annoying thing about sitting by a window is that it tends to attract a lot of lint in my throat. All right, let's do the collective reading. Oh my gosh. I can't pin it because there's a heart in the way, so I have to wait. A big giant heart keeps you from pinning. I really wish they wouldn't do that. Okay. All right, let's give you your reading. Would you like a reading? All right, permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records for the collective. If this reading applies to you, then please take it. If something does not apply to you, pass it down the table. Maybe it'll apply to somebody else. I love these new cards. I'm using the Paulina. Okay, your message at this time. Be like water. It's very important for you to understand that you don't have to be a part of every fight and every argument. Some people are so keyed up or defensive. We're going into Christmas week soon, right? So what is it, the 17th? So yeah, Christmas is 8 days away, right, people? So King of Cups is the great mediator. So we're going into this kind of energy now. Happy birthday, Sid Shakti. Of just be water. You don't I'm rubber, you're glue. Just let it roll off you. Also, here the Knight of Cups. These are opportunities to just Let it roll off you. You know, it's very important not to engage in conflict right now because everything is very, very tense. Okay, Six of Pentacles means give grace at this time. In plainer words, a lot of people this time of year feel very inspired to help. It's a time where people are coming together and serving others. It may be a time when you are preparing things for other people. You know, presents, things that you make. It would be nice if you could make them from hand, you know, cards from hand. This is a time of just heartfelt love between people. Six of Pentacles is really giving your all in terms of giving. Your crossing card at this time is the Queen of Cups. Again, they're just saying be like water. Just be love, 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 love. Get out of ego. Love, love. You don't want to put yourself in harm's way. Love, love, love abusive people because they say the sweet spot is to always have boundaries. Boundaries, unconditional love together is the sweet spot, right? So you've got, again, here the Queen of Cups. You're this loving, beautiful person who's helping others, serve others, but don't be attached. Seven of Swords, take the weapons of war away from people. Seven of Swords. And so how you do that is by taking away the cause, right? It goes back to the Torah. If somebody's jealous of you, how do you get them to stop hating you? You remove the cause and make them feel that there's nothing to be jealous of. Find out what they're jealous of, what they resent. If you address that, the war ends. Even, it doesn't matter whether it's rational or not. The person believes it to be true because people tell themselves stories, right? So if you look at what's above you, Seven of Swords is the ability to recognize human nature and to take the swords of your adversaries away. Prior to this time in your life, you may have been in a situation with people where you simply couldn't deal with them at all. Four of Cups is to reject offers. So it could be that in the past, you know, your way of dealing with family is to not deal with them at all. What they're saying is if you're going to go back into the lion's den, you've got to be like water and just be humorous, loving, not engage people. Instead, your attention should be focusing on perfecting yourself. You know, the Eight of Pentacles comes to you in the 6th house, which is the Master's card. You are wasting precious time and energy engaging in concerns about other people or conflict with others when that time could be spent mastering your purpose on earth. You don't have time for this. Life is too short. You could get hit by, God forbid, a truck tomorrow, Has v'shalom, God forbid. So the story, what they're saying is, if it does not advance you towards your mission in life, let it go. Got another hairball. Oh my God. I love my cat. But ooh, does she shed. Oh my gosh. You are being transformed as we speak, Death. Nine of Wands. So, you know, when you call, what happens when you call people out, if you look at the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, you never call people out on their crap because people get defensive. Nine of Wands in the 8th house means your opposition is becoming defensive. It's like the more you attack, the more defensive they get. So stop that tactic. Nine of Wands. People are not in a situation to listen to anything you have to say. Yeah, focus on your garden growing. Seven of Pentacles, focus on your own achievements. And final outcome is the world. And as long as, God, that's really great advice, isn't it? Focus on what it is. What is your plan? Because you chose to incarnate into this matrix, which is one of the hardest. You did not choose how your parents treated you, because that would be silly. If you believed that, you would be suffering from malignant narcissism and you would think you were a demigod. And I know you're far too humble for that, right? We don't, other people's free. If somebody chose to be a jerk to you, then they have to take complete responsibility for their behavior. Blaming you for their abusive behavior is what narcissists do. And then you have what's called inverted narcissists, where we run around believing it's all about us. We're victims, right? That's also a form of narcissism, right? So what they're saying here is just unplug. You can get off the circuit. You don't have to be flying around in a circuit of people of, oh, Joe thinks this and Jane thinks that and Tommy thinks. It's a waste of energy that could be focused on your project. You came to Earth for a reason. So what's the plan, man? Well, I don't understand. Well, let me help you out. You're here to create heaven on earth, tikkun olam, the fixing of the world. We're not going to Armageddon. That's a false teaching, right? That's not what the Torah says. We're evolving towards the truth of the matter is, even though I don't always agree with Jeff Bezos and who are the three rocket people, Jeff Bezos, Branson, and Elon Musk, right? They all want to travel in space. I don't all agree with those folks entirely, but at the same time, that seems to be a better understanding of where humans are headed, that they will head towards colonizing other planets, expanding, because it fulfills what the Torah says is going to happen, that we will be as infinite as the stars, and that the children will be amongst the stars, right? Which is what Elon Musk and some of the other side, they want their children to be among, well, that's exactly where the Torah says we're headed. So no, if people, you have to nip it in the bud, this Armageddon, this crazy cult of Armageddon. There's other Christian interpretations. It has to do with the burning of the soul towards self-realization. Not that you're going to be, it was a person going through probably a spiritual purge when they wrote that. Paul was burning with shame because he had murdered so many Christians, right? So I just think we need to tone down crazy Armageddon rhetoric when the Torah says the exact opposite, that we're actually evolving to a place of perfection. And if you believe in evolution, which I do, and if you believe in Darwin's general theory of evolution, then the Torah is simply confirming Darwin's general theory of evolution, right? That 90% of evolution does go extinct, but that's only because we're evolving and moving towards perfection, right? Which is why humans keep evolving. Our brains get larger. But no, we will not go extinct. We will inherit the world and beyond. We will not see Mars, right? We're not going to see Mars, but our grandkids will, right? Our great grandkids will, and that will be cool. And they'll be rocking around the Christmas tree in Mars, having a great time, thinking, I can't believe our great grandparents told us not to do this. I mean, there's 50 billion people in the world. Where did they expect us to live, right? So that's really cool. It's a really cool part about being human, right? That we get to be amongst, we will expand the goodness of ourselves into the infinite, right? Oh, there'll probably be wild botanists that will wind up on colonies of Mars trying to get flowers to grow that can resist high temperatures, and there'll be like growing plants there. It'll just be our wild great grandkids creating beautiful worlds. I guess mystical Mormonism. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, I don't know much about Mormonism, but I've talked to Mormons that study the mystical branches of Mormonism, and they go, yep. It's like, really, you guys? Yep. That's the mystical. Not that they themselves are going to go, but that the destiny of humanity is infinite. And I think, wow, that's actually, Mormons in the Mormons and Kabbalah is very similar. I know they get a bad rap, the Mormons, but if that's what they believe, then the Jewish people would say, well, they got it right. That is precisely where we're headed. Everybody gets their own planet, right? Why not? If you had the technology to do so. You guys want to do some blitzes? Are we going to blitz away? Martian potatoes. Yeah, I mean, that appears to be what probably the first colonization. That's what they'll do, is probably agricultural experiments to see if certain seeds can tolerate certain conditions. They'll get there. We always do, because that's the great thing about being human, is we get to participate in creation, as artists. And that's really cool. Yeah, I think it's very cool. Okay, we got some questions. Let's go back. We're going to go back, and we got the order to blitz away. Oh, turn. I was thinking of doing that one, Joel, but it's a really long song. I think it goes for like 10 minutes or something. There's like so many verses. I guess I could do like a couple verses. Let me see. I had some questions. Okay, Jeffrey Stein talked about COVID. We talked about what we think happened with the COVID leak, that it was most likely spies that got leaked it. I just did it. I do basic. I to be honest with you, I do standard statistical stuff. I'll do a remote view and it'll look like that, and then I'll go back and I'll do data collection. I just think it's very obvious from the data I've looked at that somebody stole it and it leaked, probably to sell it for money. All right, so we're going to blitz. We're starting with Joel Tilson. By the way, Joel is our floor director. I had an announcement to make also for those of you who are looking for books for Christmas. The book of the month is The Silent Power of Words. The Silent Power of Words. Taco Tuesday, we will be having Griselda Steiner on. She'll be talking about her book. It is a series of spiritual poems based on mythology, everything from Greek to Roman mythology to Italian opera, etc. Very, very, very intense writer. And I know that Chuck is also going to be reading from the book. So that is our book of the month. And then we will be announcing our January book of the month soon as well. So I just want to get that out. All right. Yes, the answer is yes. Yes. People, Palestinian Authority that support sharing the area with the IDF to get Hamas out, because there are locals that want to be trained by the IDF. There are film footage now coming out of all the people that they now think that they can win. So they're becoming bolder against Hamas. Before they didn't. So they're going out and they're joining and they're saying, we want Hamas out. And so what happens is you have this thing happening between Gazans who are running to the Israeli side. They can have a home, hopefully, in Oasis, right? Because we've talked about Oasis. We've talked about creating a safe zone for those Gazans who do not support Hamas, right? And we've talked about, what the migration patterns would look like. We've had some very intense conversations about Oasis, what an Oasis zone traditionally looks like, what the historical migration patterns are. And what you see very clearly is that an Oasis zone collapses war. And that's because people's nature is that they go to the good life. And so they lay down arms. Wouldn't you rather have delicious grandma's homemade chicken and rice that you can smell it wafting from the Oasis? Or do you want to stay out here in the cold arguing with people? No, you're going to lay down your arms and you're going to come and get yourself some nice chicken and rice, right? You can stay out here and you can have a sit down protest, but I don't think you're going to have much fun, right? So, what we learn from benign dominance, what we learn from these studies in human behavior and evolution is that people run to the good. People run to the good. The good is 10 times more powerful than war. So if you were to create a nice little bubble of safety on the Gaza side and give a little bit of, and also share a little bit of land on the Israeli side, and tell anybody who thinks war sucks, you can apply to live there, what do you think would happen on the Gazan side? Well, it would quickly fill up, right? So then what are you going to do? What are you going to do with all those cool Gazans and all that delicious Gazan cooking and all those beautiful, wonderful people that are just loving and wound up being stuck in the wrong place at the wrong time? You don't want to blame them. They had, they were hostages too, right? Well, you got to expand the line. You see, there's the oasis. You see how many oases will form? You see how it expands the land so people don't feel so crowded? How do you end war? Open, but controlled. And you give people what they want, and that's how you collapse a revolution. And so what we see, dear brothers and sisters, is we see a collapse of the system, and you have a shaking of hands between decent people in Gaza that want to build a country and IDF soldiers that are tired of this crap. And together they come together and you get an ace of swords. They win and they kick the foreigner out of Gaza, and you build an oasis society, right? Here comes the Knight of Cups. What is the Knight of Cups in war? He's the mediator. He comes into the battlefield and says, cease fire, right? So victory in war, we get a ceasefire. Here's the war tower. Now many people, because Sinwar, he's surrounded, the head of Hamas. Now the people that he's terrorized since 2005, 6 are coming out and saying, you took our money, you took our food, our baby. Right. A lot of women forced into marriage with Hamas fighters, etc. So a lot of bad things are coming out. So you have this tower reckoning, which is why I think Sinwar could take his own life rather than be captured. Two of Swords, strong unity in war. Two swords stand together. Yeah, the Palestinians and the Israelis will come together to protect the land, build oasis, create peace. And it's important for Israelis to understand that the people going into oasis are the people that were doing the fighting and dying to protect their land from Hamas. And they should be treated as righteous people that need to be helped. And not the enemy, because they are not the enemy. They are not the people that attacked on October 7th. They are the victims of the people that attacked us on October 7th. And once we understand that, we'll be able to create an oasis site for them and build a beautiful border with two friendly countries of good people, because the Gazans that go to the oasis are good people who've been horribly traumatized, and we want to give them the good life. They deserve the good life. Would you agree? Yes, so we want to give them the good life. Okay, so this question is coming from Jeffrey Stein, and I think it's a really interesting one. He's asking, what do we think about the whole, do you guys think, I guess I'll just throw it out to you, because I think Jeffrey's asking an important question. Do you think that, well, we're switching over to a conversation about Donald Trump. I just want to switch over to Donald Trump. He was asking about the plea deal. Do you think that we're closer to a plea deal with Donald Trump than we've been in the past? Because I know people are afraid, and I know that I'll put up Joel, because Joel helps me organize the questions. Oh, there he goes. Joel put it up. Plea deal for Trump. Thank you, Joel. He just helps. I have poor eyesight. I have not had a look. I haven't received, I don't know. They may scrap the proposal and do something even 10 times better. I know that they were very excited. I know that they were very excited. And I know that other people, other anthropologists who've been working inside Israel for decades came to the same conclusion. So my paper was just confirmation of the other papers summarized. Yeah, he's a businessman who's lost it all. So, look, what's the guy going to do? He's going to try and get the best deal he can get, but I don't think he should plan for anything great. I mean, Queen of Pentacles. What's the Queen of Pentacles in a investigation? The hidden queen of money. So who's that? The FBI, right? The FBI is female. King of Pentacles is a G-man, right? I use those two because they look for hidden money, they look for hidden things, and it's the hidden king, it's the hidden queen with the secrets, right? Looking around, sniffing around, following money, keeping secrets, right? So who does that? The FBI. So the FBI is the Queen of Pentacles. She's the queen of the silver dollar, right? So that sucks for him. You know, he's got the FBI on top of him. How can you run for president when you got the freaking FBI literally on top of him? So what's the response? The response from the opposition, Nine of Pentacles, that tells me they have everything on the guy. Nine of Pentacles. You know how much evidence they have on this guy? Nine of Pentacles is your nest egg. I can't imagine how can he get out of it? Hopes and fears, the Ten of Pentacles, right? His family legacy. These cards are so easy to read. Final outcome, Five of Pentacles. So his lawyers and the feds are fighting about a deal as we speak. Regarding the FBI, he's finished. It's over. He lost. The FBI charged him. I can't, there's no way. First off, he's got a Five of Swords over him. The FBI take the swords of weapons away, right? Five of Swords. We took his power away. So the FBI took his power away. There's no damn way. His opposition, Moon, Nine of Swords. They are so deep in his finances, it's practically become metaphysical. I mean, there's just no way. Hopes and fears, Page of Swords, Archangel Michael. Come on, man. Who's Archangel Michael? Page of Swords. What's he symbolize? He's the sword of truth, right? So what is Trump afraid of? They're using metaphysical imagery, right? He's afraid that the truth is going to do what? It's going to take him out, right? So he's terrified that the FBI, it's so easy to read his cards, terrified that the FBI is going to take the weapons away. He's terrified that the truth is going to come out. He's terrified of what? Truth about his family legacy, Ten of Pentacles. It's the easiest damn cards in the world to read. What's his final outcome? The Ten of Swords. Why Ten of Swords? Why do you guys think it was Ten of Swords? Why did the universe choose to give us that symbol? Who close to him has not turned on him? Who close to him? Nobody, right? Maybe, no, I even think there was a picture of Don Jr., right? He was crying outside. What happened? They said he drove to the FBI. No, he drove to the police station last year. He parked his car outside the police station and was crying because he had to go and give a deposition. He called them from the car. He made a video drunk about it. And then they had to come out and get him to walk. I mean, like the guy, so they all turned on him. I mean, we shouldn't laugh. I mean, can you imagine the mental state you would have to be to drive yourself to something like that and then be yelling at, calling the police, yelling at. I mean, it sounds like this must have been devastated, but the fact that 10 of Pentacles is on the line and the fact that the final outcome is the 10 of Swords, I mean, it's devastating. It's like taking down the Kennedys. There is nothing left. They're a crime family, and look, they circled this crime family out of New York. This is not the only family out of New York that is involved in crime. But what's interesting is that the FBI was working very closely. Here's the thing that probably pisses him off. The FBI was working very, very closely with Hillary Clinton during this investigation to try and find out about corruption in New York and corruption in the FBI because of what had happened to her. So in the end, who was the person who was clean as a whistle? Her. I know somebody that was an informant for the CIA during this whole entire thing. And she said she was so traumatized by having to be an informant for the CIA, she developed a cocaine addiction. And her job was to report on Hillary Clinton. And she hated doing it. And I says, well, what happened? She said, she's pretty clean from what I could find out. But the stress of doing it led me to a cocaine addiction. I'm like, whoa. Because she had to be this loyal employee and then go and hand things to the CIA to, I guess, make sure she would. Well, a person's going to potentially be the future president of the United States. Of course, they were spying on everybody, and you would want them to, right? I would want them to if that person's potentially going to be the president. That's what you have to do. You have to look at their finances. You have to bring in spies. And this person, unfortunately, who was working on the campaign was the person they approached, and she had to go hand stuff over. And she was getting sick the entire time when she was running against Trump. I actually met and spoke to someone that had to be an informant. And I asked her point blank, did you find anything? And she said, honestly, no. She looked pretty clean to me. But the other side you have to ask yourself is, dirty politics, that the opposition might also get a hold of any dirt the CIA finds. So you may have somebody who's pro-Trump in the CIA that might leak it. So there's those kinds of weird games going on. Yeah, so McGonigal. So when you do remotes on Hillary Clinton, she is sitting with the FBI, helping them and cooperating to find out how this happened. She's not the one under investigation. They've looked under her hood, seeing if it whistles and runs. I mean, she has had every probe everywhere. And this is about the FBI contacting her and letting her know how far they are in the investigation. So that's something that Republicans don't want to hear, right? They want to feel, because again, people tell themselves stories that somehow, it has something to do with the Clinton Foundation or something like that. So, yeah. All right, so let's do some more blitzes. Well, so we can switch to Lenormand next. Switch to a Lenormand deck. Everybody enjoying their brunch? Anybody eating in a restaurant while you're having your brunch? A hot mess is right. What will become of the family? That's. What bothers me about this whole thing is that those of us who are law-abiding citizens who are not criminals, the only reason that they have a bunch of money that we don't is because they're criminals. But then doing all those things to steal from others and then taking an attitude, you won't let Secret Service use your restroom, right? As if you're superior. Meanwhile, the truth is coming out and you're really terrible. You're a terrible person that's far lower below the rung than the rest of us. The rest of us wouldn't behave like this. All right. So the future of the Trump family. I'm kind of scared to look at this, aren't you? Oh boy. You know what's interesting is that they're using gambling imagery. You know, the seductress Lady Luck. You know, this is the seductress. So the seductress who waits by her window. So it's almost like for them, for the Trump family, they're kind of holed up waiting for the verdict, you know, hiding by the window. You have their opposition, the sun coming out. And again, here, the roll of the dice. So it's like a gambler's imagery. Here's the family legacy. Let's see where it takes us. Oh, God. Oh, God. Tombstone. Here's the family tree. There's a tombstone on top of it. You guys want to talk about it? Ah. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. So, you know, you guys know that Jack Smith that contacted SCOTUS about whether or not Trump would have immunity. I don't see SCOTUS being on Trump's side. I mean, talk about someone who's unbelievably dysfunctional. Well, it's definitely going to SCOTUS. No, he does not have immunity. They took it very seriously. They looked at the law as the law is written. And you can see here, they go into the door, right? SCOTUS. You can see Polar Bear. The opposition, Trump, who wanted a way out, receives a notice. Movement, right? Trade. He wants out. Instead, he gets mountain. In DC, the law, the Constitution holds. No. The law, the book of the, you know, the land, which would be DC. So no. It's they stick to the law. Well, the Constitution seems to, there's no constitutional, from what it looked like to me, there was no constitutional argument for him to receive immunity. They really did put emotion aside. Does he have a constitutional argument? And based on what I saw, there was no constitutional argument. Because the book, the law, the Bible, right? So But in the case of the Bible of the Supreme Court, it's the Constitution. So the fact that the Constitution wins, the fact that they became the polar, they became a polar bear, the deep freeze, no, this will not go well for him at all. No. Well, that was a cool brunch. Did you guys have fun? Did you have a good time? It was pretty cool. It was low key, a little quiet today, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to go. I am starting to get a little hungry. I might have something. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can check out my information. TarotWithWhimsy.com is the website if you're trying to make an appointment to get in, or you can go to Booksy, to my booking information. That's in the channel description. I also, if you want to save money and just get a cheap 5-minute question pre-taped, I tape them for you. I think they run something like $30, and those are available through Wizio. If you would like to join our fan pages, Debbie Brady was very kind enough to help develop the Oracle of Whimsy fan pages on Facebook. And if you join our fan pages once a month, we pick someone to receive a free tarot reading. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Joel Tilson, our floor director. Thank you, Debbie Brady, for all your hard work. Amazing talent manager and creative director. And thank you to all of you for hanging out with me. So be kind to all so that all can be kind to you too. And we will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Be well.